Buddy, and welcome to the Save Your Grades episode on Google Spreadsheets. This is produced in collaboration with Student Helpdesk. So, like all our other Exploring Google Products videos, I'm going to start with the tabs, move down to the bar, and onto the share button, then maybe the integrations, and the actual data. So, let's start. You can always name Google products like, let's just name this my testing sheet. Boom. Name appears in your Google Drive like all other Google products. On to File, Share, which the shortcut up here, the Share button, does the exact same thing. It opens a dialog that allows you to get a shareable link and add collaborators to your project. New allows you to create another Google product straight from this menu. Open does the same thing, but it opens Google product. Import allows you to import other files from other editors into Google Sheets. Like you could take a Microsoft Excel and import that, and that would appear here. Make a copy does exactly what it sounds like it does. It makes a copy. Download allows you to download it in a variety of different formats, including PDF, Microsoft Excel, and comma separated values, which I actually use comma separated values for backing up my contacts. Email as attachment. This doesn't work because district blocks it. I think. Maybe. That's something we'll have to test out sometime. Make available offline. This, if you have the Google Docs offline extension installed, if you press this, it will automatically download the spreadsheet to your device, where you can edit it out offline. Most of the features are still available, and it's just really cool. Version history. These are the two version history features. You can also access version history up here. File. Rename. You can also rename it up here. Move and move to trash. Those allow you to move it within your Google Doc or your Google Drive without having to go back in and drag it around to the correct folder and stuff. Publish to the web allows your Google Sheet to appear in a web search. Like, let's say I went to Google and searched up testing sheet, and I had also clicked on publish to web. Then there's a chance that depending on my web score, it would appear in the search results. Email collaborators only works if you've got collaborators, which I do not have. Document details allows you to see some of the details of the document. And print or spreadsheet settings includes specific settings for the spreadsheet, including locale and time zone, calculation, and recalculation. This is good for automation, and this one pretty advanced. Overall, Google Sheets is pretty advanced, and you need to know how to use the functions correctly to get it to work in your favor. And print does exactly what it sounds like. Opens the printing dialog for this one. So now we move on to edit. You got the same undo, redo, cut, copy, and paste. Exactly what we've talked about before. Paste special. This is kind of like the paste without formatting, but it allows you to only paste certain parts of the copied data. Find and replace we talked about, and delete values and stuff. Google Sheets is effectively a huge table with extra functions, including the ability to make charts and perform calculations. So this is just like the two-finger clicking on a table. Clear notes and remove checkboxes. If I were to type true in all uppercase, or I think there's a function that allows you to create a checkbox in Edit, you can remove checkboxes and clear any notes. View Freeze is a very cool feature that allows you to prevent any calculations from editing data in that row, which is very good, like if you want to make headers, because you can't edit these. I can't change this one to say like terminal or letter. It's always going to be B. So what you can do is I can block this row, or freeze this row more accurately. And as you can see, there's now a line and no data will be able to edit this, which is a very cool feature. Gridlines just shows these lines here, up and down, side to side. Protected ranges, it's like, for some reason it's not showing up, but it's like freezing, except that you don't have to, well, you can protect very specific ranges. Like, let's say I only wanted to protect J20, then I could do that using protected ranges instead of having to freeze that whole row, and that would be nice. Formula bar and show formulas. This just shows the functions. Hidden sheets is grayed out. We'll be talking about that maybe. Zoom does exactly what it sounds like. It zooms, and full screen. Just a full screen, but it hides the controls. So insert. Like I said, you got the table. And this is just basically a big table. Row. You can insert row above, columns, cells. Now on to one of the big selling points of Google Sheets. You can create charts, images, drawings, and forms that either input data or take data from specific spreadsheets and create media based on that. Like, if I choose form, I could have a Google form that inputted all that data it collected into a Google Sheet, and chart allows me to I could take that data from my sheet and put it into a presentation. So let's say whenever you click in one of these, it's going to open a dialog. Form just creates a form that's automatically linked to your spreadsheet. Chart, very specific, but there are many different types of charts, which I actually like. I'm a fan of the organizational chart. You can do timelines, radar charts if you know how to use those. Geographical charts. Tell Mrs. Blattler that I'll be there eventually. I'm recording a video in the library. Pie charts, 3D pie charts, all that's very cool. So, we can go, you could, create it directly from the sheet if you wanted to, but I find it easier to go maybe to the slide you want it in, then insert chart from there, just because that, and I can open up the spreadsheet. There we go. You're kidding me. Okay. Linked objects. Can I open you, please? Okay. But here we go. You can open it, and this way you already have all the headers and stuff you need. You can just edit it, and it automatically updates the chart. So that's that. Image just allows you to insert an image in the cell, and drawing in the cell. Now, function is another huge selling point of Google Sheets. It has many, 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 etc. functions. And so, you could go through each one of them. What I would recommend is just searching up the function that you want to use and figuring out the exact way you can use it, because it's way outside the scope of this episode to go into what every function does. But some of the ones you'll be using the most, like minimum, maximum, count, average, and sum, which just allows you to add data, average data, count the numbers, and set maximums and minimums. Those will be the most you'll probably need for all of middle school, but you may need some of these in high school. Link, this is the Control-K shortcut that you can use in any Google product. Allows you to insert text, and then link. Now we go on to checkbox, which like I was talking about, and it allows you to set false/true statements if you see it change in the top left.
I need my keys.
So,
My keys there.
comment, the Control-Alt-M, and note, which allows you to just type a little note like this data shows our and then you see that little black box, just hover over it, boom, note shows up. New Sheet is another very cool feature that allows you to make multiple spreadsheets within a Google Sheet.
Your videos are so sweet, dude.
Thanks.
They're
I'm
awesome.
recording one right now.
You did a great job.
So, like I said, you can create multiple spreadsheets within a spreadsheet, which is sort of confusing, but it basically allows you to put some data, like maybe I want to inform responses, and the spreadsheet, and then I wanted to use those responses to construct some sort of, like, let's say I had my company's profits in this one, and then I could combine those two to, like, in a third, excuse me for a moment, I could combine those in a third sheet to figure out which things were the most popular, how much money they got us overall, and all that. So, format. Theme is a new feature that allows you to change the theme of all the basic colors and all that. Personally, I'm a fan of the forest and the standard themes, but there are many to choose from. And like in Google Slides, you can create your own with changing all the colors for hyperlinks, fonts, all that stuff. Number just allows you to insert numbers in different formats, like time, date time. Yeah. Please excuse this for a moment. Back 9 days later, but whatever. So I'm gonna pick up right where we left off with format here. So we got bold, italic, underline, and strike through, which are all standard options in the in Google Docs and just in general. Bold makes it bigger and bolder. Italic slants the letters. Underline puts an underline through, and strike through just puts a line through it. And you can also see the keyboard shortcuts there. Next we have font size, which again just changes the font size. Align, it allows you to change where the text is within the box. So like, let's say I took A here and went to Format, Align, Right. See, now it's on the right side of the box. I could also change it to something like Center, or you can also change vertically as well. Merge cells allows you to select multiple cells. If I can finesse this. Merge. Yeah. As you can see, there was a problem because, like how I showed you earlier, you can protect columns and stuff, so. Okay, so let's try this then. Format, merge cells, merge vertically. Okay. And there we go, merged one big cell. And it only protected the data in one box, which it warned me about before we committed to the operation. Text wrapping and text rotation, they're exactly what they sound like. Text wrapping allows you to put text around a picture and how that's going to go. Text rotation, rotating the text. Now, conditional formatting and alternating colors are a little bit different. It basically changes the formatting of certain text based on certain certain conditions. So let's say I wanted all of my, let's go to this sheet right here. So let's say if my company's profits, if I wanted it to be empty, then I might say I want some of this to be red. Okay, hold on for a moment. Okay, excuse me, but I'm back. Now, so like I said, formatting rules, you can add multiple rules. It's a somewhat, well, I'm not quite sure how to explain this. It's almost like coding. Like, imagine this sheet as a database. And this is basically adding just code that says, if this happens, then do this. So, yeah. Now, again, alternating colors is something different. Basically, it'll just say that certain headings and certain rows have different colors that alternate, obviously. So, yeah. And clear formatting just clears all the formatting, including rules, colors, any strike-throughs or anything like that. So, it's nice if you need to start over and just reformat everything. Now we move on to the Data tab. It allows you to change how the spreadsheet is sorted, and just has columns, and yeah, you can go A to Z or Z to A. Sort range allows you to sort a specific range of data, like this. So sort by range, column, that. Create a filter. It's green. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it just allows you to click on a certain row or column and filter by condition. Like, is empty, text is exactly. These are the exact same ones that are available on the conditional rules. So, and by value, in case you have a bunch of numbers. Next we have filter views, which just allows you to view certain filters. And the slicer, which is a new feature that I'm not sure what it does, though. I do believe that it's somehow related to the filter, so you can explore that in your own time. Data validation. This just allows you to edit how the table validates data. Let's say I wanted this whole spreadsheet to be numbers. However, I accidentally input some words that weren't in a protected range, so that I could edit this and show what I want it to look for. Like, I want it to look for a checkbox maybe, and otherwise reject input. And let's select, or whatever. Save. Yeah. I didn't do it correctly, but anyway. Pivot table. I think it just flips around the table, like it turns headers to columns to rows and all that stuff. Randomize range. I think it just mixes up numbers. Pause.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
No, thank you, Alexa. Yeah, it just moves it around. Data named ranges. This allows you to add a name for your range and make it easier to understand. Like, this is going to be called the checkbox range. It doesn't support spaces, and that just allows you to, that just allows for simple, you can just see what ones you've highlighted and what their name is. Protected sheets and ranges, that's the same thing with this up here. That's protected. You can protect an entire sheet. It basically just prevents any of the code I mentioned earlier or from editing the data. So let's say, like, I can edit it here, but because it's protected, the code can't edit it. Now we move on to split text, remove duplicates, and trim white space. These just allow you to clean up your sheet, like remove duplicates, removes any duplicate data. You do need to select a range though. Grouping and ungrouping, I think it's similar to naming a range, but let's group the rows. It's not quite that, but it almost minimizes them into a section so that you can work on other data. And I'm not quite sure what you would use that for, but someone can figure out a use. Tools, create a form, which we've already done down here, and I showed earlier in the video. Script editor and macros are the actual code. You know how I've been talking about code, like certain conditions and variables? Well, that's just Google looking over the data and saying, hey, does this equal this or whatever. Code, like the script editor and macros, allows you to make your own keyboard shortcut effectively. So, like, if I just look up the definition for macro, a single instruction that, like a set of instructions. So, yeah, it's effectively you creating your own keyboard shortcut. Now we move on to spelling, which is the same spelling feature that all the other Google products have, spell check, and your personal dictionary, which is shared across all Google Drive products. Enable autocomplete. This is just a checkbox that if you want autocomplete enabled, you hit that. Notification rules. It will send you certain messages depending on what happens. So this would be effective if you were just recording the results of a form and notify me with the daily digest. So you could probably use If This Then That, which is a online service. It's free, by the way, that allows you to connect a bunch of different otherwise unconnected things. Like, you know how I'm just trying to think of something. So let's say that Amazon Alexa can't talk to Apple Music, even though it can. If would work as sort of an intermediary where you could say something and it would actually start playing. But yeah, all Google Drive products are compatible with it. So if you need a notification somewhere. Accessibility settings, which is the same accessibility stuff that we have for all different Google Drive products. Now we move on to the Form tab, which is literally a dedicated tab to forms that are connected to these Google Sheets. You can edit, send, go to the live form, embed it, show a summary, or unlink it if I was on the correct sheet. But yeah, you can also do that directly from the form. Add-ons, now we move on to add-ons, which is it's a set of, it's basically like all the other Google Drive products. It has certain extensions that add additional functionality to the existing Google Drive product. Like, Gradebook, which might be useful for educators. You can import Google Classroom grades, and it does all that automatically. So, yeah. And finally, Help, which allows you to search the menus, which is a very cool function, considering that there are many, many menus, each with probably one or two sub-menus at least. But it's good for searching for a specific function like theme. Sheets Help, which just brings you directly, it shows you articles that all talk about what I've talked about today, and you can visit the help forum and send feedback as well. Training, which shows you, this is more for G Suite users, like a small business maybe, that might be transferring from Microsoft Excel to Google Sheets, that just has training and how to get started and stuff. But yeah, we don't need to use that much. And updates, which just has an update log. Reported problems and abuse/copyright, just allows you to report that. It does have a couple things, but honestly, I would probably recommend reporting it to the school first, and if they tell you to report it, then yeah. And then we have function list, which just shows you a list of all the functions and what they do. And then keyboard shortcuts, which just shows you like a cheat sheet for all the keyboard shortcuts. And now we have this tab up here, which honestly just has a bunch of shortcuts into the tabs, like format. All of this stuff can be found right here. Borders, vertical align text wrapping, increasing and decreasing decimal places, format as percent, format as currency, and you can extend down, filter views, all that. So this has been the Save Your Grades episode on Google Sheets, and I thank you for watching.